In this visit, we're going to look at two independent factors of social development, two developmental realities that are about to cross paths and change the way the emerging toddler interprets family life and the world around him. Yay! Yay! Good girl! Yay!
Say please. Please, Mommy.
What did we just witness? Well, besides the cuteness of the moment, the first scene had a pre-toddler mimicking her dad. Dad clapped his hands and the baby clapped right in response to it. She mimicked what she saw.
And then in the second scene, we witnessed a toddler imitating something she previously heard from both Dad and Mom. She was teaching her baby to sign the word please. What is the difference between these two scenarios? To mimic is to reflect what another is doing. That is what pre-toddlers are capable of, mimicking.
But to imitate is to internalize and take on the characteristics of another person. You see, pre-toddlers mimic because they cannot imitate. But just a few months down the road, toddlers reach a developmental attainment where they begin to imitate. That is, they take on the impressions and the characteristics of any persuasive influence in his or her life.
That is in part because the mind of a young toddler is very impressionable. Impressionable children will internalize what they hear and see and reflect it back in the form of imitation.
And they pick up on everything. They can imitate their favorite cartoon character, the church lead guitarist, or the church drummer, or your neighbor's poorest habits. And more central to our lesson tonight is this fact, that the emerging toddler also imitates tones and actions and attitudes of the most persuasive influences in his or her life. That can be a scary thought because what we have working here is the iceberg effect. Often, what we see is only the tip of the iceberg. So many of the impressions gained during the toddler years really lie below the surface, and this speaks to the power of imitation.
Well, if imitation is all a parent had to deal with during the first childhood, life is manageable. But there is a second growth factor emerging in young toddlers about the time imitation is becoming a part of the child's conscious and subconscious behavior. This second factor is the awakening of Dad's unique position in the family and his leadership.
For the 18 or 20-month-old, it is as if a switch suddenly turns on in the brain and the child becomes increasingly aware of Dad's influence in the home. It's not that Dad wasn't in the picture before, but now these little ones reach a developmental point where they begin to recognize Mom and Dad as a unique entity, and they have a unique relationship that they share together.
This is the birth of a new concept in the mind of the child, that Mom plus Dad equals parents.
So let's put these two developmental threads together. Well, on one hand, the child possesses a growing ability to internalize and imitate behavioral patterns within his environment. It is the ability to take on the characteristics of another. This is the constant factor in all children.
Then, on the other hand, the child reaches a point in which the reality of Dad's presence now takes on persuasive influence. This is the variable. When these two emerging lines meet around 18 to 20 months of age, a new world of reality is formed at the meeting point, one that will provide the right and left boundaries of the child's emotional, intellectual, and spiritual life.
Yeah, this speaks to the power of a father's influence on the home environment. He will inscribe on his children's hearts impressions for life. That is why it's so important that during the first childhood, we dads get this thing right. I can tell you, it's not always easy to stay on task, but there are some guiding principles that can help make every dad a great dad.
We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to see more, and check out the growingfamilies.life website to find more resources and to get connected.